Hi, and welcome to JW's Understood. Today, we would like to talk about the biblical practice of shunning as practiced by Jehovah's Witnesses. The word shunning means to avoid deliberately or to keep away from. This definition fits how Jehovah's Witnesses practice it. Members who unrepentantly violate clear Bible principles or resign from the faith are shunned for the spiritual protection of the congregation, and it promotes repentance. So, how common is shunning? A good place for us to start is to talk about the workplace. When a person loses their job, they are often banned from company property, lose the ability to socialize with ex-coworkers while on company property, being effectively shunned by the company. In some cases, this is even required of individuals who resign. This protects the company and employees from disgruntled former coworkers looking for retribution against their former employer. Employees of a government or of a company with contracts with a government may be required to restrict their communication with others, often to the point of isolation. They are expected to shun such ones with no right to the information they have. If they do not, they may be imprisoned or may simply lose their jobs. In regards to personal relationships, when one quit drugs and alcohol, one of the things they must do to be sure to maintain their cleanness is to quit associating with others who may tempt them to return to their addiction. We as individuals may decide that someone is a bad influence on us, and we may completely cut off association with that person for that reason. It is our right to shun whomever we want for whatever reason we want. Others may simply be a detriment to our livelihoods, and communication with them is either minimized or completely prevented in order to keep their bad influence from affecting us. Because of the strong feelings in families throughout history, whole families have been known to reject a family member because of their betrayal of the family or of an individual in the family. Parents may cut off contact from children or children from parents because of such betrayal or because of severe disappointment or violation of family principles. This has occurred in all times and places without any religious influence whatsoever. In society at large, when someone has performed a notorious act made known in the community, everyone that knows may alienate them as persona non grata to communicate to the community that such behavior is not tolerated. In war, enemy combatants or collaborators are shunned to protect self, family, and friends. Because authorities cannot expect the community to shun criminals, criminals are physically removed from the general population. Though for their own mental well-being, people are allowed to visit them, but only under the watchful eye of prison guards. Criminals who are put on probation are not allowed to be seen associating outside of work with other criminals, or they may be sent to prison to serve out the rest of their time. They are thus expected to shun other known criminals. However, there are some harmful forms of shunning that have taken place in ways that innocent lives have been negatively impacted with extreme efforts. Social groups may name individuals or groups as undesirable because of their social status, such as rich kids snubbing poor kids or the social elite rejecting those seen as imperfect or socially awkward, treating them as social outcasts. In the name of nationalism, those associated with a political ideal may persecute those of a differing ideal simply because their ideas are different or because mistakes were made. Both parties could be equally culpable, but one blames the other and may resort to violence to establish dominance. Entire races of people have been seen by other races as inferior and deserving of enslavement or even extinction. The color of their skin or simply their cultural background may mark them for violence by those who hate their race. Religious persecution occurs when one religion feels it has a mandate by a god or their religious leaders to physically attack and even annihilate someone of a different religious belief. In each of the aforementioned harmful forms of shunning, people will make up or propagate all manner of lies to justify their hatred without concern for truth. They may deny business to such ones, even pressuring others to deny business to them, making it difficult for the hated ones to buy or sell or even to find employment in order to take care of their families. They will resort to both mental and physical attacks to beat down those whom they hate. They speak regularly of their disdain, whether privately or openly. These forms of shunning are in order to instill fear and hatred for those who are being shunned. But the cowardly one is the one unwilling to live or work alongside those whom they perceive as different. Physical isolation is another harmful practice that takes ones away from being able to share ideas in fear that those ideas will not be accepted or fear of their members being infected with outside ideas. This leads to every kind of bigotry. But shunning in and of itself is not abusive. It protects the rights of the ones shunning to live in peace away from danger and bigotry rather than promoting them. It promotes an atmosphere of physical and emotional safety for individuals, groups, and society in general, and it does not impede upon the rights of those being shunned to live or believe in any way they want to, but it protects against their violence or unwanted influence. Instead of isolating a community, it allows the community to interact with others on a peaceful level, free from persecution and other unwanted attention. It allows them to gather peacefully with like-minded individuals if they choose. It promotes unity and social order by alienating those who would seek to disrupt that order and identify those who are obedient through their quiet compliance. Clearly, shunning is not something to be despised, feared, or viewed with suspicion, but it is a part of every society in every walk of life. It is a fundamental building block to a tolerant and peaceful society. Those who demonstrate intolerance and disorder are not permitted to spread their harmful influence because order and disorder are incompatible. Order must reject disorder so as to maintain peace, or it erodes into chaos. That is why Jehovah's Witnesses lovingly protect their loyal members and promote the peace of the congregation by shunning unrepentant wrongdoers. Shunning is so common that each and every person who has ever lived has done it, either consciously or subconsciously, many times throughout their lives, even from childhood. Every time you make a judgment that you are not comfortable pursuing an association of any kind with someone, you are shunning them. Every time you cut off association with someone you were once close to, you shun them. Perhaps you can remember having been shunned by someone at some point when they would no longer talk to you, even for just a short time. It is only natural for us to protect both our physical and emotional safety by shunning those whom we think would jeopardize that safety. Jehovah's Witnesses simply apply it to their spiritual safety as well, but only toward individual former members. This can result in the same repentance that a person might have if they hurt their friend in some way and their friend shunned them. The only difference between choosing to shun suddenly because of a perceived injustice common to most people, and that of having a predefined plan to shun based on a triggered event, as in our system, it is that the person shunned knows exactly what to expect with our system and why. It comes as no surprise to our members because we explain it to them before they ever become members so that they know what to expect. Do you explain your shunning standards to people every time you make friends with them? Clearly, shunning is not something to be despised, feared, or viewed with suspicion. But this is a part of every society and every walk of life and practiced by everyone who has ever lived. It is a fundamental building block to a tolerant and peaceful society. So thank you for watching JW's Understood, and we hope to see you back next time.